Okay, we're good here.
Are we live?
We're good there.
Oh my gosh.
And it'll pop up here in like 30 seconds, I'm sure.
Say, can they see us?
They're getting there. Boom.
Yay.
And things hopefully look good. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Things of the Internet. Welcome to Medicare Cafe Pre-Chats. We are technically on the hour and when the cafe would start, but Olivia's not here, so we're throwing the rules outside the window and going to have a little bit of fun here today.
Yes, for sure. Obviously, we are not the normal people. My name is Sadie Palmer. I'm part of the cafe team. I do a lot of stuff kind of in the background. You don't see me very often, but you do see this face very often.
Probably too often, truthfully. Both on your phone for the Facebook group and then the occasional emergency partner when it comes to the cafe here. I am Benjamin Lavas. I'm a part of the Agent Resources team here at Senior Marketing Specialist, as well as, like Sadie said, I guess a part of the cafe team. I don't know. Have I officially been initiated as part of the cafe team?
I mean, you only are 50% of the cafe page. So I would say that's the thing. If you haven't seen his face often, that means you're not part of the cafe page. So we're telling you right now, you should be.
That's true. And I may get like really sad and cry later about it, but it's fine. We'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Awesome. Guys, well, today we're going to go ahead and kind of skip the pre-chat today. Sure. Honestly, we were kind of having our own pre-chat here. It just wasn't on screen, but we'll go ahead and, if you're cool with it, dive right into it today. Today, 100%. Obviously, we're talking about the top 5 mistakes that we see here working with agents all the time as far as AEP planning goes. So this isn't like AEP mistakes. This is right now, believe it or not, we're in it. We're in the time where people are thinking about certifications. We're thinking about all the things. And well, hopefully you're getting ready and kind of boosting up. And at least AEP for the 2024 AEP is like on your mind.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about this today. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it.
And I will mention here, we don't have the text line here today since Olivia is obviously not here. So that's why you don't see it here on screen. So if you're trying to send us any questions or comments for today, try to use the YouTube chat feature. That way Sadie and I can see that moving forward.
Yeah, that's good.
Olivia is away at a conference with both Clayton and just all of their friends. So you have the A team stepping in here and and running the cafe.
Yeah.
And just like Sadie said, we're going to be discussing some of those AEP planning mistakes that we see, just kind of to get the ball rolling, break up some of the dirt and grime from previous AEP. So if you have things that maybe you've experienced, or would like to forewarn a fellow agent, feel free to throw it in the chat or the comments. I think this is going to be a very commentary style cafe.
Yeah.
Make sure we're all on the same page.
Most definitely.
And I guess I will kick it off with the first one with waiting to book booths in kiosks.
Yeah, so you'll see that kind of a theme throughout this is time management or, over a long scale of time. Starting about now is when you need to be thinking about the different events, the different booths and kiosks and all that sort of stuff, ways that you're going to be getting in front of people. And honestly, the main reason why is because if you wait too long, a lot of those slots are going to be booked up.
Yeah.
And so right now is an excellent time to start building a relationship, if you don't have it already, with your local rep. And I know that our AR team lately has been pushing a lot of get to know your reps because all the different things. But yeah, you can speak on that probably a little bit more than I can.
Without a doubt, not more than you can, but just without a doubt, making sure that you're finding the time. Make sure you're finding the time, because you don't want the first time that a carrier representative is hearing or seeing your name be when you're asking for something. It's a constant thing where we are in the industry. We need to give. And that's what a huge part of Carrie's model when creating referral partners is to give resources, give support, give an asset to their friends and family to the people that they're taking care of, you need to do that with the carrier representatives as well. Give yourself, give your time. Honestly, that's a huge part. Carrier representatives are consistently put into a spot with creating relationships in a community feel. They are the boots on the ground for the area. And so take them out to coffee, to lunch, get to know some of the different things that they may have going on. That way, later down the line, and not too much later now, you have the opportunity and already the familiarity with the carrier rep to talk about, hey, I want to do booths this year. Hey, what does DSNP look like in our area? Hey, what are some other options that, now that we've facilitated this relationship, we can actually have some really good conversations, and, it becomes even more beneficial to you and the carrier in the end of the day.
For sure. They're like the easiest, networking partner, if you will, that you can have. I mean, they should be one of the first. If you're interested in, starting to build up your relationships with different professionals in the industry and other industries, they're the easiest one to start out with.
True.
Because they want to get to know you and they want to be able to help. That's what their whole job is for. Yeah. And now we know that sometimes people say, well, in the past I haven't had. But they're human, and there's a lot of people. And also, I think another thing that people assume is that, well, if I'm in the area and it's their job to help people out in the area, then they probably already know me. So, whenever I reach out, I'm like, that's not true. They don't know. There's a lot of people they have to keep track of and all that sort of stuff. And either way, people like to work with their friends.
Yeah.
So the more you build a relationship and a friendship with your rep, honestly, the more you're going to get out of it.
Exactly.
So just really important to get to know your local reps, especially of those carriers that you're writing often or that you need more support and help from. Yeah.
I know we took this towards the route of booths and kiosks for AEP, but supplies is another really big aspect. If you have run out of an app kit or an enrollment kit that you're doing for AEP, they're one of the first people that may have some of those supplies handy. And if you have that relationship with them, it's way easier to get that right then and there instead of going and having to print off a 30, 40, 50 page application. They may already have some of those kits for you. There's honestly so much more. They usually and traditionally have a marketing budget for events and seminars, and so maybe they want to be able to utilize that, and they're going to utilize it for people that are facilitating relationships. So definitely something. 100%. If you take anything away from this first mistake, reach out to your carrier representatives now. We're kind of already behind the ball a little bit, but I think there's still enough room. A lot of the booths and kiosks, if that is going to be a plan for you this AEP, those need to be starting to have conversations as soon as possible. We traditionally see June, July, and August, specifically July and August, all of those spots are already starting to fill up. And with all these changes coming through, a lot of this is going to be going through the carrier filter. And so now is the time. If you don't know who your carrier representatives are, I highly encourage you to reach out to your upline. They should have someone in charge of making sure that you know who to reach out to.
Yeah.
I know that's what Brittany does for our team here, and I even introduce agents all the time to several of our carrier representatives. So without going, I could probably talk just about carrier representatives for this entire time, but we'll go ahead and skip on to with not familiarizing yourself with helpful AEP technology.
I think that this one is probably going to be one of the more sneaky ones for people, especially because we use e-apps so often now, and it's such a tech-filled world. I mean, every industry is, but I think a lot of people, most people are tech savvy nowadays. I
would hope so.
And so I think sometimes people think it's just an e-app, it's just this, it's just whatever. And it can kind of sneak up on you. Sometimes I think because every single e-app, if you're someone who's using different e-apps for every single carrier, the e-apps are going to be different. Yeah. They're not all the same. Some take longer. I think that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. Not just getting familiar with the tech itself, what buttons to push and all that sort of stuff, but how long it's going to take you, what kind of questions it's going to ask you, all that sort of stuff. And I think that sometimes people can underestimate that, or they get in there right before AEP and they realize realize that there's a lot of problems and stuff like that, and they have to reach out to their,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Now, Medicare Center, it is one app, so if you're not using Medicare Center, it's a really great tool because it is one e-app for all of them. But even that itself, you still need to learn that one app. You still need to get in there and kind of mess around with it, figure out how it works and all that sort of stuff. But just getting used to it so that way whenever you go into the appointment, the tech is not what's getting in your way. The tech is something smooth in a way that you can actually control it, of course, because it's not always going to work. But doing the most and doing the best that you can to control it is just getting in there and being familiar with it.
One of the biggest things that technology and these different platforms should be adding is adding to your appointment. Should be making it easier.
That's the point,
exactly.
right?
That's the whole reason that we're putting these into place. They have these systems and processes is to make your job easier. I just had like a stroke.
It's because you're not drinking coffee. That's my beef. That was one thing that we were talking about in the pre-chat here. That's my beef with Medicare Cafe, is we claim to be a cafe, but I'm the only person that's ever drinking coffee on here. No. So anyway.
Train of thought. Didgeridoo. Man.
Oh no.
What have we done?
This is when it gets real.
Wait.
This is when we're like, oh yeah, we don't do this often.
Rely on the slides. Oh, e-apps and Medicare Center. So we were talking about how technology and all this stuff is supposed to be helpful for you. One of the cool things is that they are making a lot of changes to what this used to look like. We used to do everything by paper. We used to do certifications all by paper, all that kind of stuff. We're making changes. Technology continues to change, though. So if you're used to an application online from, say, I don't know, Medico, I know that's not the best example for AEP, but they're getting ready to rebrand into a different carrier name. Maybe we'll see some changes to their electronic e-app. So just kind of carriers are ever adapting, and that includes the technologies in which to enroll on their platform. So you don't want to add anything to your appointment that may make it seem like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you get into an appointment and you're looking at an enrollment for the first time, there's going to be that unspoken uneasiness to be like, okay, wait, what's going on?
Well, it's like if you're fiddling around with the tech and you act like you don't know what's going on, it's kind of like the people are sitting there like, yeah.
Are they truly an expert in the field?
Sure.
If they're not familiar with something as quote unquote, because to the client, they're going to think it's as easy as an online application. So that should come second nature.
Also, we're not saying spend a whole day on this and be something that you're like that's not what we're saying. We're not coming on here and being like, make sure that you know every single thing about it and make sure. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying make sure that whenever you actually get into AEP and October 1st isn't the first time that you're looking at the applications or that you're going through Medicare Center if you're new to it. Even if you're not new to it, things like that, like he was saying, Medicare Center, e-apps, all this tech is constantly being updated. So you just want to make sure, just get in there once or twice before. That's all we're saying. Yeah. We're not saying we don't want someone to hear and be like, oh my gosh, I have to spend a whole day on this, or what are they talking about? That's a waste of time. That's not what we're saying. Just get familiar with it.
And I think that's a good point. It leads into the value-based enrollments and health risk assessments that we also had here on this slide. That value-based enrollments and health risk assessments are a great way to add some faster change, a little faster funds in your pocket, especially during AEP when all that business commission isn't going to show until the first of the next year, maybe the first month of the next year. And so I highly encourage you, if that's something that you are interested in implementing this 2024 AEP, you should go ahead and start implementing it now.
Yeah.
That way you are familiar with the process. That way nothing is popping up and catching you off guard already in a very stressful time of the year. Do yourself that favor. Don't add any more stress than you have to.
Right.
Get yourself familiar with those value-based enrollments and those health risk assessments.
Well, if you're doing that for the first time and you get stuck and you have a question and you have to call your upline or you have to ask someone for help, you don't have to worry about the appointments, that you have back to back to back, like during AEP. You have the time to sit there and call and say, hey, what is this? And all that sort of stuff. So it's really all of this comes down to just making it so much easier for yourself whenever you get an AEP and allowing your appointments to run as smoothly as possible.
100%. I think that solidifies a lot of that too. And then moving on to it, we've talked on the cafe here recently about some of the new compliance changes. You've seen, I'm sure, a lot in Facebook groups, as well as many different webinars or trainings that have been going on. Compliance is a huge factor, especially for AEP, because it starts when AEP starts. Any proposed changes are going to affect this year, September 30th, even a day before AEP is set to take place this year. So make sure not only are you adjusting to different technologies and different platforms and different good practices moving forward, but you also need to be adjusting to compliance. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they're not going to change their mind.
I think that's one thing that we see is, especially last year.
Yes.
I think a lot of us learned, at least like here in the office, what it's like to see big compliance changes and like see the market and the agents and out there. And one thing that we saw often was, people like right up to October 1st were like, well, they might change their minds.
Why do I need to record calls?
And waiting till the last minute to figure that stuff out because they're so hopeful and we get it. Like, we totally get it. It's a huge thing. For some people, it was a huge thing to implement call recording and all that sort of stuff. But, hopefully now everybody's used to it. Hopefully everybody's using it now. But, that was just like one thing that we learned last year is, if it's in the final rule, it's happening. 99% chance that it's going to happen. And, we just have to wait, to see like all of the actual details and, logistics and stuff like that. But don't wait until the last minute just because just plan on it happening. And you know what? Hey, cool. If the 1% happens and it doesn't, at least you were prepared.
Exactly.
And you don't have to worry about it. But just save yourself the trouble and just start, looking at those scripts now or getting used to the idea, knowing and preparing your mindset. Really, I think it's more mindset than anything. Prepping your mindset for the changes that are going to happen. So that way, again, you go into AEP and you're not being tripped up by any of the new things that are different from the year before.
And just like you mentioned here, it's better to know that stuff now and have an action or game plan that you can follow. And if you don't end up needing it, you have it for if it does ever go into place. And you've already done the legwork to kind of get your agency or your business up to snuff and make sure you're ready moving forward. Sadie spoke about it very well earlier. A lot of this is time management. Mindset, I think, is a good one to add in there as well. And just preparing yourself. AEP is an extremely stressful time of the year. It's already looming over us, and I feel like this year just started, and here we are. I blinked twice, and it's May. Like, how crazy is that?
Seriously.
And so, just taking the time, making sure that you aren't the reason any other additional stress is being added to your business load as it is already.
For sure.
So, ignoring current opportunities. This is a really interesting one. I think we talk a lot about AEP, but you are still a business that's operating in quarter 4, not just AEP.
Absolutely. And I think this is definitely going to be one of those where some of y'all are going to be like, well, yeah, duh. But we see it often overlooked, especially maybe people who are like newer in the market or people who have been in the market for so long that they're used to doing it one way. And so we just want to come on here and, state maybe what might be the obvious for some of y'all, but don't forget about all of the other things. I think one big thing is MedSups. Your MedSup business doesn't stop during AEP. Actually, I think this is probably a well-known fact, but most of your business, even most of your MedSup business could be written in AEP. So just not forgetting about things like that. And then things like DSNP, they're using AEP for their enrollment period. And also that's a huge market. I guess we could get into that, but
there's so much here. I think make sure that not only quarter 4 has a tendency to be still one of the biggest MedSup quarters of the entire year, and you'd think that would change with how much goes on. But honestly, all AEP does is introduce the idea of, hey, is Medicare Advantage right for me? And if it's not, well, then you might be looking at a Medicare supplement client very quickly. I think even now, and making sure you're not ignoring current opportunities, a lot of the prep work can be for AEP, and that can draw you away from other certain things. You still have a book of business to take care of. You still have clients to take care of, making sure you're having conversations, making sure they're on the right plan throughout the year. There's a lot of SEPs, 5-star options. If a client happens to be know someone who may be referring you who might be in their IEP, like there's still a lot of other things you need to make sure that you're keeping in mind. Just because you are prepping for AEP doesn't mean that's the only thing you should be doing right now either.
Sure. And like we said, probably most people know that, but there is sometimes a mindset that all of our business or most of our business, we do our business in these like 3 months, 4 months out of the year.
Right.
And maybe that's a little bit more old school. Maybe that's not quite the mindset now, but yeah, just reminding people that there are plenty of opportunities throughout your year to be making that money. Yeah. You don't have to worry about, only making the bulk of your money at the end of the year when there's so many opportunities and things like the D-SNP market. Yeah. So, and I'm sure that they talk about this a lot on here because I know that we talk about it a lot, but like carriers are screaming from the rooftops. Like it's such an underserved market, and it can be a niche. Like if you get into that niche and you find your thing and you're able to help a market that there's not a ton of resources for, that can be huge for you throughout the whole year because there's I think it's once a quarter is the that they can enroll or change. And so, I'm
going to take the next minute and like 20 seconds or so and kind of do this because I have an agent that I'm actually working with who, one, reached out to their carrier representatives really early about establishing a relationship and that they were really interested in doing events and serving their community for the D-SNP market.
Woo!
This agent currently already runs and kind of operates a food bank here in central Missouri. So yes, they had kind of maybe threw some petrol on the fire to kind of get this started. But they had the relationship, they had the conversations with the carrier rep, and since then have already seen 3 to 5, maybe even 7 different D-SNP clients specifically come from these events. So not only is it really awesome, you facilitate some of the other conversations that you've had, carrier rep relationship is skyrocketing because not only are you doing events with them, at the end of the day, you're bringing them more business and they're going to want to continue to work with you because you have now a track record of bringing them more business. Moving forward into that, we talked about some of these other carriers or couple other of resources for clientele that are seeing this side of the business. We're going through one of the biggest shifts to Medicaid than we've seen in a really long time with the redetermination. We've seen a lot of that, and there's a lot of resources. I know it's been discussed here on the cafe, but also on the SM or Senior Marketing Specialist YouTube page about what that Medicaid redetermination is doing, and that's going to take place over the next year. People don't have to finalize that until I think it's May of 2024. So this is going to be an ongoing thing that clients need some support through. And D-SNP, their plans are going to look different. Things are going to change, and so they're going to need someone to rely on. So I probably took over my minute and 20 seconds, but this is if you are looking for a new way to tackle the market, I would encourage you to at least toy the thought of that. So. And then the big one of the group.
I didn't make it for anyone who could say.
I threw the webcam up right before she took the shot. Not on purpose, but on accident. But here's kind of the big Band-Aid that I think a lot of people are kind of going to moan and groan at is certifications. It is no secret that
they're a pain in the butt.
Exactly. I couldn't have sang it better myself or said it, honestly. They are not fun, But if you can alter your mindset, they're making sure that you as an agent are in a position to take really good care of your clientele, taking care of our nation's seniors. These are the things that allow you to become and help you establish the repertoire that you are the expert in your field. I have agents actually who will print out each of their certification or their certificate that they've done and display it proudly in their office and get so many like, wow, what are all these awards for? And like, oh, well, yearly I have to, update to make sure I'm staying up to date with everything that goes on with each of the carriers that I represent.
Kind of makes you a bit more credible if they can see it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And also, just from like time management standpoint, every single year we get a ton of calls and like right up towards AEP, and people are freaking out because they thought that the certifications were going to be really easy. Mm-hmm. They thought that they were going to be able to fly through it because, this is their 15th year in this or whatever it may be. And the questions are harder than what they thought.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to fly through it, and they have one more shot at this. And so they need help, and they're running up against the clock and they're freaking out, and now they don't have time to study. I mean, we're not talking 1 or 2 calls, y'all. We get a lot of people that are doing that. And also, it gives you time if there's tech issues. It just gives you space for something that is so important that getting it done ahead of time isn't about being an overachiever. Yeah. It's making sure that you are able to do it and, pass it with flying colors. If you don't, call us and we're able to help you, and or call senior marketing specialists, and we're going to be able to, help you the best that we can and work through that with you. But it's just going to give you, it will add so much stress. That's the thing. It's like the people that are calling in last minute and they're like, oh my gosh, I've done this so many times. They're starting their hardcore stress, freak out in the moment, anxiety before AEP even starts. It like kick starts it for them. So it's just about giving you enough space to be able to get them done and without you freaking out about it.
And honestly, if you do them as they come out, traditionally a lot of the carriers will space them between each other. And so like Cigna told us that they should be releasing theirs sometime in July. Aetna's already started to tease when they're going to be releasing it. And the reason I bring all that up is if you're tackling those certifications for the carriers that you represent as soon as they're coming out, you may be able to chip at the block, and then next thing you know, all the carriers you represent, you're already certified for. Take care of it during the summer. Give yourself the opportunity to take a week before October 1st and be with family, rest, relax, take that pre-AEP vacation in a sense, and because you're getting a lot of this stuff done beforehand. Set yourself up for success. Also, certifying for your entire portfolio. That's a huge aspect that I think we get a lot of questions for. Well, I didn't think that plan was going to be super competitive this year. Sure enough, it ends up being so.
That's a very good point.
Making sure that you are certifying your entire portfolio, even if you don't think you're going to sell that product, you don't know until
last minute, man. Exactly. That's how this market runs. It's last minute. Sometimes these carriers come out with these plans, and it is out of the woodworks. And so that's an excellent point that I did not think about. And we see that dang near every year. Yes. Every year, there's always carriers that are like, "Whoa, what the heck?" In a good way and also in a bad way. Yeah. So, that's an excellent point.
And it's even, a greater time to not only portfolio certify, but also a really good time to take a look at your portfolio. Are there new carriers in your area that might have, expanding into counties that you're now touching? And I guess this will be a really good time for me to kind of mention for those certification dates or deadlines or whatnot, definitely consider joining our Medicare Cafe Agents Facebook group page. Clayton and myself do cert alerts. So soon as we are...
Cert alert.
Yep, cert alert. I can't sing, so I have to just be weird. But we do those as soon as we get information or notification from the carrier. That way, you as an agent know exactly when can I plan to take that carrier certifications, as well as the deadlines. That way, you don't lose out on any renewals. There's a lot of different things that go around surrounding certification. So let's make sure I guess I didn't miss anything here. No, you touched on CERT portal issues, which almost every year we see 1 to 2 carriers, something, they all plan for it to go super smoothly. And as is this industry, there's always going to be a hiccup or two or a mountain to kind of get over. So definitely incorporating that into, give yourself the opportunity to breathe. I think you started this cafe with such a great kind of monuments of saying these mistakes are not necessarily mistakes that'll be detrimental to you, but as experienced agents have noticed and alter, that's probably one of the biggest things that they change throughout their year-over-year business is find a way to give myself more time. Time is a limited asset that you can't just buy more of. Get that back for yourself by doing some of these things that we've discussed here today.
Yeah.
And that way you can thank yourself later.
Yeah, I think that is like a really good point. All of these things on here, not even on purpose. Whenever like me, you, and Olivia were kind of talking about this, it's funny. We didn't even mention how it's like all of the things on here aren't even necessarily about like mistakes you're making that are directly affecting your income.
Yep.
It's mistakes that you're making that are directly affecting the way that the mindset that you have going into it. These are all different things that, if you implement or just implement a little bit, can reduce your stress going into AEP, and obviously that in itself will help you have a better AEP because it'll just those are 5 things that you just don't have to stress as much about whenever you get to October 1st.
For sure. So for anyone who may be joining us late, those 5 things were don't wait to reach out to your carrier representatives. Do that now. That way you can get booths or kiosks or just have that relationship moving forward. Moving that into make sure you're familiarized with the tech that you may be utilizing this AEP, whether that's Medicare Center, any electronic apps with your carriers, and then value-based enrollments or health risk assessments. Make sure you put yourself in a position to not be caught off guard if any of that changes. From there, we talk about don't ignore current opportunities, both now and in quarter 4. MedSup clients still need to be taken care of even during AEP. Look at some of the DSNP options, both now and during AEP. You have a lot of different aspects going on there.
Yeah, and don't wait till quarter 4 to make that bread.
True. Very, very true.
There's plenty of opportunities right now.
Yeah. And then finally, kind of putting the spearhead here, don't delay your certifications. Go ahead and get portfolio certified for everything that you have. Take a look at your portfolio, see if there are any other new carriers or new products coming to your counties that you serve. You will thank yourself in the future. So
sweet. We did it.
We didn't. The computer didn't explode. We sounded good the entire time. We're not
people
blue.
were quite quiet today. I know that we're not used to, people aren't used to these faces, but
next time I'll wear an eye patch. That way they ask questions.
Maybe get a little bit, maybe some conversation going via eye patch.
Do you like some FX makeup? It looks like I was in a fight.
So we're coming with costumes.
Yes.
Next time we do this, we're coming with costumes.
Exactly.
You swear?
I will do it.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it. Okay.
Next time we are on the cafe, we will wear costumes.
Yeah. No one asked for that, but that's just...
This is just a personal recording now.
Yeah, this is just because we like looking at ourselves on the screen. No. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you want more cafe content, which we know you do,
True.
Or just like industry insider stuff, you want to talk with us more, ask us questions, connect with other people that understand what you do on a day-to-day basis, join our cafe page, Medicare Cafe group on Facebook. You'll see Ben quite often. You'll see Clayton, the other 50% of that page on there. And you'll just get more content. You'll get updates, stuff like that. Funny memes.
True.
They're the meme kings.
True.
So, join that page if you want more content.
It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of misinformation that gets spread, and that group is specifically put into place to make sure you're not only getting good and accurate information, timely information, as well as you have assets, just like you mentioned. You're a part of a group that know what you guys are going through. So, looks like Scott here is mentioning great job. Thanks, guys, from Krista.
Guys.
Carissa, good to see you. She's one of my favorites. Don't tell any other agents I work with.
That's a secret.
Yeah, it's a cafe.
This is not going on the internet.
Cafe only secret.
Yeah.
We'll appreciate. I guess which parts would you like?
Well, you start.
I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, perfect. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us here today. I was joined here by Sadie. Again, my name is Benjamin, and until next time, have fun,
Make money,
and give impeccable service. We'll see you guys on the next